why Martinelli should drop his smug attitude, and one Manchester United player that I would love Arsenal to sign, and Saliba rectifying his chronic mistake. Hello and welcome to the post-match review of Manchester United versus Arsenal. Arsenal needed to win where they hadn't won in a long time. Even though it was a depleted Manchester United side, it had been showing promise of late and some stability, shall I say. They were under additional pressure as City are not just winning, they are scoring some extra goals so as to show Arsenal in their face and also eating up their massive GD. It wasn't the only it wasn't only the win, it was the manner in which it came, being really solid, little to no nervy movements. It was progress in the real sense. It should also be noted that what Klopp achieved against City with a much limited budget should be valued so much more, but what Arsenal and Arteta are achieving with even more limited players should be revered even more than that. We're gonna realize the same when some other team comes close to challenging City for the title, and then we can take a look at them, and that's when we will actually realize what Arteta is doing isn't easy at all. So coming to the game performance, Arsenal were okay all over, didn't attack that well, but at the same time didn't quite let United too many clear-cut chances. They made up several half chances, but in the end it was nothing more than that. Coming to individual performances, first up is Havertz. Again, the reason why Arteta keeps on picking Havertz is because his each touch is impactful in the match. As like you would have seen, like he plays from the wide to the center, from the center to the wide players, and that like opens up the game. And again in this match, apart from the goal as well, he's like wherever like the game was congested, his simple touches, single one touch passes opened up the game. Next up is Trossard, and this is the point where Martinelli should drop some of his smug attitude and maybe learn a thing or two from Trossard. He's everything a winger should be, and then some more. And even though he has, and they, and even though he doesn't have the blistering pace, he does so much more than Gabriel Martinelli. Next up is Saliba. It has to be said that his absence last season was decisive, and it showed. However, I'm a fan of his driving with the ball against opposition pressure, but he shouldn't test supporters' nerves by doing that in his own penalty area, where there is absolutely nothing to be gained. I've said this multiple times previously, and it's really encouraging to see that he's identified that and he's reduced that tendency now, and now is just a bit more aware to when to and when not to push the limits. He's young, so awareness will come even more as he matures. So all is good here. Like I've said in the past, where Saliba does this thing where he is goal side from the player, and he does something like he goes from being goal side to not being goal side, and that is an area of his game that is also his strength, but that is also his weakness. Where he's like he should like be aware like when to go and when to not go. So that is an area of his game that he has luckily and thankfully recognized, and he has been working on it. And it could be seen like there was only one moment in this game, like in the since the past few games, there was like this one moment in the last game that where he did almost, and he almost got in trouble. So it's good that he has reduced that. Ben White. Normally, I don't put him here, but seeing that he kind of struggles and against tricky and fast wingers, he did really well against Garnacho, and that is more than enough right now. Next is Amad Diallo. What a game he had! Just couldn't imagine why Ten Hag didn't play him more. Really loved what he did throughout the game. Diego Dallo. He's someone who doesn't put flashy performances but is a solid and consistent player and is more than decent both in attack and defense. I would love if Arsenal signed Diego Dallo sometime in the future. He could be our next Jorginho, and it won't create a scene like it did the last time out. And last is David Raya, total and literal vindication of Arteta's decision to bring in Raya in place of Ramsdale. Even though after a few nervous starts, didn't he just take it well? Now, in the upcoming game, if Aston Villa lose versus Liverpool by a huge margin, it could really tempt Spurs to really give it a go for the UCL spot, and that's when things will really become interesting. If you like more original, unfiltered reviews, please subscribe to the Indian Gunner channel and do hit the bell icon. Also, do drop your comments. What are your thoughts about this historical match? That's all for this match. Let's prepare for the next one.